Hello, my absolutely brilliant and beautiful astrology soulmates, and welcome to this video where we are going to talk about the astrological sky and energy that is available for us from November 10th all the way to the 16th. Now, this week is a week where we're going to see Jupiter step into its retrograde. So we're really going to be thinking back into patterns of what has already come up for us. But then also, we've got a last quarter moon happening this week. So there is this sense all week long that there's some kind of review or integration that we are still participating in. And we've got plenty of retrograde already happening in the sky. So I think there's plenty for us to talk about and see how each day is going to play out for you. Now, if you're new here and we haven't met before, I'm practicing professional astrologer Stormie Grace. Thrilled to have you here. I'm also the creator of GAFA, the Grace Astrological Fluency Academy, where we teach you to speak, read, and write the language of astrology so that you have fluency. You can watch how astrology opens the door when you can speak the language. If you're ready to learn astrology, classes are ready. Click in the description box down below, and I would love to have you. Now, also this week, beautiful friends, your digital transit calendar for 2026 from our friends at Wise Skies Collective. It's up, it's available. You can use my code Stormie2026 to get a little bit of a discount, and we use that on this channel, and you can use it in your life all year long to follow the major transits, to plan when is that retrograde coming, where is that happening in your chart. It's an amazing tool. This is the third year we've been promoting it, so I definitely think it's something that you will love. All of that is in the description box down below, along with your daily timestamps, so you can check out whichever day you need to. All right, heading right here into Monday, our moon day. As we're coming in on Monday, the moon is actually in domicile. It's traveling through the vibration of Cancer in the beginning portion of the day. So as the moon is coming in this Monday, it's a little bit more comfortable, actually, right? We're more emotional, we're more intuitive, we're more in touch with what we believe is to be our home and our safety. So there's this sense of kind of ease in the early hours of the day. Now, as we get to midday, we're going to see that the moon is going to make a sextile to Uranus before it heads into its void of course period. Now, as the moon makes this sextile to Uranus, it's almost as if lightning kind of passes through still water, right? We've been here, we've been cool, we've been calm, we've been collective. So our feelings, as we're going into our void of course, are starting to wake up and percolate just a little bit more. We're maybe starting to see something differently, like from a different emotional perspective. Uranus brings things that are sudden, a sudden insight, a sudden conversation, maybe even a change of direction or routine that you were going to be taking on for the day, and now you're heading in a different direction. Something else I was thinking about, because it is a sextile that is useful to us, is that during your void of course time, while you're paused and you're not pushing things forward, you're more so resting and finishing up things from the past, or just giving yourself an opportunity to be. You might be thinking about how you would like to let go of something from the past that you've been clinging on to. And you're like, you know what? I don't think that I need to hold on to this anymore. And this void of course period is just a small pause, but it's enough to give you this inspiration to kind of like open you up in this middle part of the day. After that, we're going to speed the rest of Monday up in the second half of the day, because we will see that the moon then shifts into the vibration of Leo. Now it's warmth, it's courage, it's self-expression, it's a bigger energy. We want to wear our hearts and our feelings on the outside, right? We shift from that emotional processing space to a place of more play, more joy, more expression. Something that you love. In the second half of the day on Monday, I want to invite you, find something that you love, something that brings you joy. Reconnect with this on Monday, because it's a day to remind yourself, I think, too, that being alive in general doesn't always have to be heavy. And even if you're in a heavy season or you're in a heavy moment, you're allowed to have a day where the heaviness is still true, but you find something that brings you joy, that brings you something to laugh about, brings you this aspire, maybe a little bit of movement, or you can align with the colors of Leo energy to respark your senses and kind of restore us. Bring in the colors of the sun, of oranges, yellows, gold. bring in gold, bring in something that makes you feel royal or regal. These colors, these images can be a lot. They can be really helpful as you're navigating through the day. So on Monday, if you find yourself in a position where you are like releasing something, you're releasing a family situation, you're getting inspired to be a little bit more bold second half of the day, you simply realize that you don't need permission to live and move and have your being in a way that feels right for you. That's very much so a Monday vibration. Now, on Tuesday, we're going to see that Jupiter steps into its retrograde. Okay, so the first things first that we have to do when we're talking about a retrograde is realize what was happening when the planet was direct in the first place, right? As Jupiter moved into the vibration of Cancer, oh my goodness, didn't we start to talk about the home, the family, the property, the real estate, our roots, ancestors? All of these energies really came to our attention, right? And I don't know about you guys, but when Jupiter moved into Cancer, I had gone back to build, extend, expand something in my parents' home, right? Like literally, so Jupiter in Cancer. So, what came up for you? Let me know what came up for you in general as we were having Jupiter take its movement into the vibration of Cancer. But then as we got into August, around August 17th of this year, at 15 degrees of Cancer is when we actually started to slow down and see where Jupiter was expanding something, but we were going to need to go back and trim the fat from that. It's too much. We've got to cut away some of it. So now, as we're here, on November 11th, we see that Jupiter is taking that retrograde at 25 degrees of Cancer. So the first thing that you want to do is go back and look in your chart to see which specific house this is happening in for you between 25 and 15 degrees of Cancer, because this is where the work is going to be. And we're going to see that Jupiter stays in its retrograde until March 10th of 2026. So we're pushing into 2026 now to bring this direct, and it will fully leave the entirety of its retrograde cycle in June. So whatever you've really been working on, the focus time is going to be between August and June to bring the whole thing to a close. But the sentiment around it is that it's calling us inward, right? The retrograde's taking us back. We're going in. Instead of having this expansion, we're inviting ourselves to deepen. Also, what has come into our space at this time, we're deepening our roots around something. Cancer teaches us that emotional security is real wealth. That's some real wealth. So, in your emotional life, as you're showing up today to this forecast, where are you? Do you feel like you are deeply rooted and content or alive in your emotional life? Looking at the way you've behaved in family dynamics, and to include, I want to say here, like if you're a part of a really tight like work group or something, and that's like your work family, right? Where you exist in pods of people that you might consider family or neighbors. Where have you been over giving, extended, too much Jupiter? You've been seeking validation. It's been very external to try to get that emotional satisfaction and that emotional safety, that good wealth. And you're doing that instead of nurturing yourself at home, home being our physical bodies, home being the emotional life. Where is this a time where intellectually you're able to say, these are my traumas, this is what's happened? Like you can really name all of the things and really the actions that you could take to be getting relief from that. But what you haven't maybe done is actually feel it, get into the somatic practice of feeling your experiences through your body. Jupiter retrograde is a great time to reveal where these imbalances are in our caretaking, right? Whether you've been mothering everyone except for yourself, or you've been expecting someone else or something else to fill the emotional cup. Now it's time to reclaim that power during this retrograde, but we have a chance to see it and cut away. The last thing I want to say about this day and this cycle is that it's an excellent time to reconnect with your lineage, whatever lineage is for you, whether that's spiritual, whether that's biological. I've gone back into the lineage of my astrology family and I'm learning a new skill, right? So, what is this even for you in those ways? Write a letter to your ancestors, pull out an old recipe. from someone in your family or from even a book at the library that's really like, it's a lot older, but maybe it comes from a tradition or a culture that you come from, right? Whatever makes you feel like home and gets this connection going. On Wednesday, we've got the last quarter moon happening at 20 degrees of Leo. So you want to grab that and see where this 20 degrees of Leo story is at in your chart, because there has been 2.5 years invested in what we're going to see in that story. But we're also going to see that the moon is going to hit another void, of course, and then enter into the vibration of Virgo. And we've got a conversation here about where you are in the journey of your story as we look through the lens of this last quarter. So first of all, the last quarter is reminding us that this is a time from the last 2.5 years where we are really integrating the lessons that you took on, right? You're here, you're turning away from the way things used to be. You're in a full integration of what you've been learning, what you've been bringing into reality here. And you've been bringing this into reality since August 16th of 2023. So like right away, go back to August 16th of 2023. What was happening? What was called into your life? You were planting your seeds to begin something at that time. And they were being begun in Leo qualities, living with courage, bringing joy into your life, being creative, having creative expression, particularly ones that align with whatever your true values are. It's accepting some of the external applause at the way that you do things and the way that you express yourself. Now, as we got to May 15th of 2024, we saw that your energy would have moved into the first quarter position. So you're active in this Leo quality in this house area of your chart. What were you doing? What were you building? What obstacles were showing up? You were having to have this action to strive and build forward. We come to February 25th, so just earlier this year of 2025, and we got to that full moon that was happening at 24 degrees of Leo. This is when the sky lit up. Everything you had been working on since 2023, you can see it, right? And you celebrate what you built and what you've become and what you've shed. And then you needed to end something, acknowledge something, or make an adjustment. There was a pivot that was up and on the table at that full moon time. So now, as we're here at the last quarter time, this is the ending of it. Now we're going to turn away from this event. You're going to integrate it. And you're going to look at who you've become in the process of building this emotionally, thus physically as well, over the last 2.5 years. What a massive transformation for you to step into and look at where you've been. Don't miss out on this. Go grab your journals, right? Grab your journals, grab your Google calendars, see what was happening, what was going on for you at that time, because I promise you, it was massive. It was absolutely massive. Okay, later in the day, we've also got Mercury and Mars coming together in a conjunction here in Scorpio. They're coming together at 6 degrees of Scorpio. As Mercury and Mars keep coming together, if you remember, excuse me, they're coming together in Sagittarius. I think I just said Scorpio, but they're coming together in Sagittarius now. But if you remember, they came together in Scorpio just last month, and that was like a supercharging of our energy. Things got intense, got really super focused at that time. It was a truth-telling transit for sure. Words could have been scalpels at that time. Like our words could have cut and cut deep, and you were going right to the heart and to the truth of what things were, right? Could have also been a beautiful energy for strategy, investigation, honest conversations. Okay, now as Mercury and Mars are coming together in Sagittarius, it's where am I going to expand my horizons based on what I've learned? What I've learned, what I've seen, where I've been, what am I going to do with it next? How am I going to be as laser sharp to form a new philosophy, a new way of living? Where am I going to go? I think about Moana, I don't know how far I'll go based on what I know now. And if you guys haven't seen that scene in Moana where she finds out in the cavern that her people used to be wayfinders, even though it's been hidden forever, and then she essentially goes and becomes a wayfinder, right? Like this is very much so that transition to me between that Scorpio and Sagittarian energy. As the day continues to unfold here on Wednesday, we're going to see that the moon is going to square Uranus as its last aspect before it heads into void of course time. So this particular void of course period for us this day, I think, is more about releasing pressure and letting what is unexpected come up as we relieve pressure that we've been putting on ourselves, right? Now, the energy can feel erratic. It can feel more wired. Again, this is an engagement with Uranus. So there is a lot of electricity. So I would just say, if you can, if there is something you need to do or a decision you need to make or finalize, even in the resting period, try to ground yourself first so that you know that you are making it really conscious. You know what I mean? You're not making it from erratic fear or anything like that. Late in the night, we'll see that the moon moves into Virgo. Things feel a lot more solid, definitely more grounded as we move into the vibration of Earth. So it kind of restores some of that energy, some of that calm as we're moving through the rest of the day and certainly moving towards Thursday. Now, on Wednesday, if you find yourself in a position where you are needing to we've just come out of Scorpio, a lot of Scorpio stuff. If there's a truth about a relationship or a project, it is likely a truth that's been simmering for months now. It may sting when you hear the information, but use today as a clearing fire. It's a clearing fire. It's pushing away the illusion. And if you can stay grounded and wait to respond until the moon gets into Virgo, I think you'll actually be responding from a beautiful place. Okay, on Thursday, though, you also have all of Thursday to work with this because the moon will be traveling through Virgo all of Thursday. Okay, so after all this Wednesday intensity where the energy's kind of gone up a little bit more, Thursday is offering more of a grounding. It's a great day that if you felt overstimulated in any way, whether it was from earlier transits in the week or what's going on in your life, the particular season of life that you're in right now, today helps you kind of reclaim your center of rhythm through the grounding energy of Virgo. It's a great day to get organized, put your things in order. You know, if you don't know what to do with yourself, you're still feeling ungrounded, or if you just have things that need to get done, do the laundry. Thursday's laundry day. Thursday's clean out the garage day. Thursday's clean out the car day. Thursday is clean out the bottom of that purse day. Oh my God, nobody wants bottom of the purse gum. Okay, that is not it. So make sure you clean it out on Thursday. As we get to Friday, we have a little bit more of restoration of flow because we're going to see the moon having done its days in Virgo is going to get ready towards the end of the day to switch. It's going to go back into a void of course. Give yourself on Friday, particularly Friday night, Friday afternoon, an opportunity to just like give yourself permission to not need to fix anything. Stop the organizing. You don't need to do that anymore. Just let the solutions find you on Friday. It's the flow through letting solutions find you Friday. That should be a whole new day that we have on this channel. Solutions find me Friday. When we get to Saturday, now we've got the moon having shifted out of that void, of course, in Virgo energy up into air. Moon in Libra, right? Your heart, your insides remember harmony. So as we're traveling through the weekend, you may be craving that, but you're also craving like relational recalibration and equilibrium, right? Because when the moon comes into Libra, first of all, it's coming into air. So it's a chatty weekend. We want to talk about how we feel so that we can understand how we feel. But we also want to make sure that the things we are in relation to are in balance. There's peace, there's meaning, there's meaningful connection. The weekend is also for beauty. It's for beauty. Rearrange your space. Does it feel luxurious to you? Whatever luxury means for you, does it feel beautiful? Dress up, put on something that you haven't had an opportunity to wear all week. And even if you got to go to work and you wear an outfit that you hate, right? You have a uniform and you just can't stand it. Put on a lip gloss, do your hair in a way that makes you feel like this is how a Libra would behave, right? Bring that in there because this is actually a subtle way that we bring the real conversation and fluency of the lunation that is happening into our everyday lives. And it's a way to restore harmony. Now, Libra also teaches us, though, through the weekend, that peace doesn't come with avoidance. If something feels off or out of balance through the weekend, face it kindly with a little bit of Libra grace and charm, but face it. Emotional equilibrium isn't the absence of conflict. So through the weekend, some stuff might come up. There might be a misunderstanding. You might be collaborating with someone on something beautiful or creative or something like that, and there's a misunderstanding through the weekend. What if you meet a Venusian energy, right? You meet someone and they are just reflecting beauty, and the fact that you can see the beauty in them means that you can see the beauty. It is a recognition of how far you have come, right? Or this is another one. Venusian energy is about money as well. Perhaps you're engaging with people who are showing you how far you've come financially or in your understanding of where your self-worth is around relationships, money, and these kinds of things. They're acting as a perfect mirror. Okay, when we get to Sunday, we're also pulling that Libra moon with us through this Sunday energy. So keep the vibration going throughout the weekend. Partnership, reflection, artistry, balance, beauty, heart-centered check-ins are great throughout this weekend. After an emotionally charged week earlier in the week, I think that you are just invited to some gosh darn beauty and luxury. And listen, spend time in places if you can, whatever it looks like for you to create this, where the environment soothes your spirit. If you haven't already jumped into the Venus Reset program or seen that it is at a new price so that everybody can jump in and experience that, oh my God, jump in for 22 days and let me give to you, receive. Pour into your cup of spirit for 22 days. Or if you need quiet, lean into the quiet, lean into the self-compassion, right? The goal isn't perfection, it's presence and it's beauty, and it's to be Libra and Venusian as you're traveling throughout your weekend. All right, my beautiful friends, I think there's a lot of spiritual and emotional intelligence that we're demonstrating this week. As far as really big, tantalizing aspects go, we don't have a ton of that that's going to take our attention away from the ones that have our primary focus. But what you can remember is that no matter what's happening this week, astrologically speaking, every reaction, every engagement this week is a teacher, and it's just asking you to have the experience of your beautiful self this week. All right, my beautiful friends, there's 2 videos at the end of this one. Check them out. They are your next natural step in your astro journey. I love you a ton, and I look forward to seeing you next week.